against Grey's Anatomy and Chicago Fire and everything else, but they didn't do that. They had 8 million. They had basically 8 million people watch the games on CBS. 8 million, which is less than an All-Star game in baseball. They had 8 million for their Sweet 16 games. Now I don't know what games were on CBS. I'm not sure which game was on where. I think Michigan was CBS. I'm not positive. I know two were on TBS and two was on CBS, but they did about 8 million on CBS, and I'm sure they probably did about 3 million on TBS. So they did about 11 million people, which is not terrible. Not great, but it's okay. And they should do a little. It's a Friday night, but they do have Duke, they do have Villanova, they do have Syracuse. They got the Big Ten tonight in Purdue. Kentucky, Michigan are on CBS. So Kentucky, you would think and that does make sense. All right, so Kentucky, Kansas State on CBS was up against the Florida State Gonzaga game, which is a horrendous rated game. So the Kentucky game did 8.1 million at 9:30. Good game. That's not a great for Kentucky. They did 8 million for Kentucky in a close game late. All right, not sure how to read that. Here is Huck in Missouri. He starts us, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Huck, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
Doing well, Chris. Hope you have a good weekend coming. Here's what I have a problem with the tournament, okay? And it is what it is. There's no other way to really go about crowning a champion other than what they've got. But I have a hard time with a team like Florida State, a team like Loyola, who are, lost 8, 9, 10 games. They're still alive to win it. But Virginia, who lost 2 games in the regular season, has 1 bad game and they're done. The regular season means absolutely, I wouldn't say absolutely nothing, but it means very little. And it's just tough for me that this is how they determine a national champion.
Yeah, the basketball, ask Vermont about their regular season. They did not lose a game at all in their conference, in the regular season schedule. They had a good out-of-conference schedule, and it all went to waste. Who cares? Because they lost a tournament championship game on their court to UMBC, who finished second in their league. So there's a perfect example. Virginia, as you said, they lose 1 game in the ACC. Even Krzyzewski said this the other day, and you say to yourself, okay, what does that mean? Because they got knocked out in the first game. So if you want a series, you go to the NBA. Now, it's a lot more predictable in the NBA. There's not an upset, but the NBA you might pay a little more attention to between October and April. In the NCAA, unless you're a real diehard, there's nothing to pay attention to until March 1st. That's the bottom line.
They'll never do it, but to me, I'd love to see them go to 32 teams and have a double elimination tournament to decide it. I think you would get the better team to win a national championship, to where Virginia could lose 1 game but then bounce back and have a second chance.
Well, what are you supposed to do? You want to put them in a loser's bracket? That's what you want to do?
Something like that, like a double elimination deal, and then you can still have your mid-major schools. You don't just have all blue bloods. You still have some way for your Cinderellas to get in, but lower the tournament. That's just me. As far as Calipari is concerned, to me, he's more George Young than Bill Parcells. He's very good at getting the players to come to Kentucky. He's very good at picking talent, but he's not the greatest at coaching them in the game.
Well, the one thing I would say, I don't know if I totally agree with that, Huck, because he's had a lot of success. The one thing I will say, he's been there he's coached a lot of great players for a very, very long time. And what has he got, 1 championship game? He's won 1 championship with Antonio Davis? He lost the semifinals to Wisconsin. He lost the semifinals to Connecticut. He lost the championship game to Memphis, to Kansas. He lost a semifinal game to Kentucky. He's had a lot of great players for only 1 title. That's the one thing. We continue. Ron in Michigan. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Ronnie, welcome. How are you today? What do you have for me?
Hey, Doug, that first game last night, Loyola there?
Yes.
I'm telling you what, I don't care what the names under the jerseys were. You could have had Duke, UCLA, Indiana, you name it. That was a good college basketball
Yes, it was.
game.
Excellent game.
And
I only saw the last 3-4 minutes. That was a good game, 100%. Yes.
It was a very good game, and that's all you can ask for in this tournament. The days of these teams, big dominant teams, are gone. They're gone, dog. It's not going to be that way. And if you think a 16 seed's never going to win again, you're nuts. It's just the way this college basketball is now. So I just enjoy it for what it is. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward tonight. And if they get Michigan or Loyola in the Final Four, they'll be happy with that. There'll be nothing wrong with that game.
Well, the one thing they will sell in that game, first off, you get two big cities. You get Detroit and Chicago involved, and the other thing that they don't want Kansas State in the game. They do not want Manhattan, Kansas in that Final Four TBS. They would want Loyola. They want Michigan in the worst way. They don't want Florida State in the game either. I mean, if they get Kansas State, Florida State, they're in trouble. Loyola, they can sell the 98-year-old nun. City of Chicago, they'll bring up 1963 until you're blue in the face. I mean, that will be okay. And Michigan, I mean, it's not great. They'd rather have Kentucky. They'd rather have Arizona. They'd rather have Virginia, the 1 seed, but they can live with that. They do their best. If they get any other combination, they might be in trouble. And I think Loyola might win them all. I do. I think Michigan will beat Florida State. Sports by Time. Zig's got it. We'll come back with Jerry Harkness from the Loyola team of 63. Come on back here on Mad Dog Unleashed.